Good morning. Today, in this session, we will discuss briefly about PN junction diodes. These PN junction diodes are the fundamental building blocks of electronics and all the circuits. So, before entering into the PN junction diode, once recall what is semiconductor and what is P and what is N type of semiconductors. Basically, semiconductors are two types. One is intrinsic semiconductors, another one is extrinsic semiconductors. Intrinsic semiconductors are the semiconductors which are available in a extremely pure form. They are pure in nature. These semiconductors are called as intrinsic semiconductors or pure semiconductors. Examples for the pure semiconductors are the pure germanium or pure silicon. The silicon and germanium are available in a pure form, extremely in pure form. These are the intrinsic semiconductors. The conductivity of these pure semiconductors is very low. So we cannot brought the required output from the pure semiconductors. So to increase their resistance, uh, sorry, their conductance, and to decrease the resistance of the pure semiconductors above the temperature 0 degree kelvins. These pure semiconductors also conducts current at a room temperature, but it is very low. It requires very high voltage, high power. To overcome these problems, we have to add some impurity or dopant or doping agent to the pure semiconductors, then we can increase its conductivity to required levels. So a pure semiconductor which is added some suitable impurities is called as extrinsic semiconductors or impure semiconductors. The impure materials are pentavalent and trivalent materials. These pure semiconductors, intrinsic semiconductors, are tetravalent. These pure semiconductors are tetravalent, means the valency of a pure semiconductors is 4. 4 free electrons are available in the outermost orbitals. So the tetravalent are the pure. So trivalent and pentavalent are suitable for the adding to the semiconductors. So by adding trivalent means the free electrons are there in the outermost orbital. It combines with 4 electrons of pure germanium or silicon. So 3 electrons uh, three electrons are attached with the other 3 electrons of pure semiconductor, and 1 electron remains free. So free electrons are generated by adding impurities. This type of semiconductors are called as p-type semiconductors, and you add fifth group elements are pentavalent. It creates when you add fifth group elements to the pure semiconductors, one electron remains excess, so it is called as a n-type semiconductors. So adding by the trivalent impurities, it makes a hole. So lesser electrons are available when you add a trivalent. When you add a pentavalent, free electron is available. Due to the excess holes and electrons, by adding process, doping process, and thermally generated pairs, electron hole pairs, the current passes in the semiconductors. PN junction diode is formed. A pure semiconductor is doped one side of piece with a p-type dopant, and another side of the semiconductor is doped with a n-type dopant. So we are taking a pure semiconductor and adding the trivalent impurities, half of the piece of the semiconductor we are adding trivalent material, and another half of the piece we are adding pentavalent impurities. So in a pure semiconductor, half of the area is doped with the p-type, so it becomes as a p-type, and another half is a n-type. The combination of these two is called as a PN junction diode. Here when you add trivalent and pentavalent, then some layer develops in between these two sides, middle of the dopants, so it is called as a PN junction diode. Here in the PN junction diode, the major three steps are there in the formation PN junction diode. One is a diffusion of charge carriers, another one is a depletion layer or depletion region, or formation of space charges, and another one is a drift. So consider a pure semiconductor is left side is doped with the p-type dopants, so therefore we have majority of holes in this region. The p-type is a positive type, the majority charge carriers are the holes and minority charge carriers are the electrons, and the right side doped with the n-type dopants are pentavalent material, that region becomes as a n-type semiconductor. N-type. So in this n-type, the electrons are majority charge carriers and holes are the minority charge carriers. The electrons in the n side diffuses to p side, and holes in the p side diffuses to the n side through the junction. So the movement of these electrons from n side to p side and the movement of holes from p side to n type is called as a diffusion. Here more and more electron leaves the n region, and more holes leaves the p region. A region of positive and negative charges is formed. Positive charges and negative charges is formed at the junction. Positive charges are accumulated near to the n-side junction and negative charges get accumulated near p junction. This region is known as a depletion region. This region is known as a depletion region. More number of holes coming attracted towards diffused towards the n region, and more number of electrons are diffused towards the p region. This region is called as a depletion region. Here the direct motion of the charge carriers occurs through the charge drift under the influence of applied electric fields. When no electric field is applied to the semiconductor which is above 0 degree Kelvin, the conduction electrons as well as holes moves within the crystal with random motion and repeatedly collide with each other. Due to the random motion of their motion, the net average velocity of the charge carriers is given by the direction is 0. Given by in any direction is 0. So there is no current exists through the crystal under the condition of the no field. If you apply some electric field to the crystal, under the influence of this electric field, the charge carriers attain some direction to move. They superimposed on the random thermal motion. This average velocity is called as a drift velocity. The drift is a motion of the charge carriers through by the applying electric field. So depletion layer is a region where the positive charge carriers are accumulated near to the n-type semiconductors, and the electrons or negative charge carriers are accumulated at the region of p. Due to the accumulation of negative and positive charge carriers, there is a region no current can flow through this region. This region is called as a depletion region or depletion layer. This depletion layer plays a vital role to conduct the electricity. Apart from this drift and diffusion, in semiconductors, uh, the negative charge carriers collides with the positive charge carriers. Electrons and holes collides with each other, then they get recombined. This is called as a recombination. In this process, the electrons, the free conducting electrons, occupied by the emission of energies. So the recombination rate is directly proportional to the carrier concentration of the large number of carriers. The phenomena here is important for the describing minority charge carriers flow. In semiconductor, thermal generation of electron hole pairs also plays a continuously. There is a net recombination rate is given by the difference between the recombination and generation rates. So to form a PN junction diode, there are major steps: diffusion, formation of space charge or a depletion layer, drift, and apart from these, recombination is the third phenomena which occurs in the semiconductors. So here the semiconductor directly is not usable because the limitations of flow of current. So when you apply some external electric field, then you can increase its charge carrier conduction of a current. So it is possible to manufacture a single piece of semiconductor material with the P and N type. Here a thin depletion layer or space charge region is established on both sides of the junction. So this is called as a free charge carrier region. Depletion of free charge carriers. The barrier potential or the junction potential is developed across the junction. The barrier potential is which the charge carrier stopped by the obstructive force. The presence of a depletion layer gives rise to junction and diffusion capacitance. So here the formation of depletion layer when the mobile charge carriers are positive in the P type and negative in the N type. Due to the diffusion and recombination, the junction is developed. For suppose a positive battery, here we have to biasing the junction diode to overcome the current conducting problems and to utilize as we required. We give some external output. So it is called as a biasing. So this is a p-type semiconductor. The symbol is shown as in the figure, the triangle with a straight line. Straight line is a negative. This straight line represents negative, this is positive. Here the battery, suppose a battery positive terminal. See in this figure, the battery positive terminal is connected to the p-type, and battery negative terminal is connected to the n-type. Then this type of biasing is called as a forward bias. In the forward bias, it permits easy flow of current across the junction. This current by this process, junction diode allows the electric current in the presence of applied voltage. The width of the depletion layer in this case is decreased. As the battery connection is made, the battery positive terminal is connected to the p-type, so the holes are repelled by the positive terminal of the battery, and electrons are repelled by the negative terminal of the battery, with which results both the electrons and holes are driven forward to the junction where they recombine. This enormous movement of electrons to left and holes to the right junctions leads to the large current flow through the semiconductor. The junction offers low resistance in the forward direction. Here the free electrons moves from n region to p region towards p region, and free electrons are injected by the negative battery terminal into the n region. The flow of electrons, here when you add the negative terminal of the battery to the n region, this negative terminal injects the electrons. Thus flow of electrons is set up in the wire connected to the negative terminal of the battery. As holes are driven towards the n region, more holes are created in the p region by the breakage of covalent bonds. These newly created holes are driven towards the junction to keep the continuous supply. But the electrons so produced are attracted to the left, attracted towards the p and positive battery terminal, and whereas go to the negative terminal and finally to the n region of the crystal. So the movement of both electrons and holes inside the crystal, there is a flow of electrons and holes inside the crystals, but only the free electron moves in the external circuit. So if you plot a graph in between the voltage and current, you will get a structure. From a particular voltage, the current drastically changes. Up to certain voltage, the exponential increase is there. After that, sudden increase in the current is there, from which voltage the current is increasing drastically. That voltage is known as the knee voltage, critical voltage. And when you connect a PN junction diodes P type with a battery's negative type and N type with a battery positive type, then this biasing is called as a reverse biasing. The battery positive terminal with the semiconductors P type and battery positive with N type. This is a reverse biasing. So positive positive, negative negative is forward connection, with a positive to negative, negative to positive is reverse. In the reverse biasing, the flow can be controlled. The depletion layer in this region widen, increases, depletion layer increases, so the resistance or conduction, resistance increases, conduction decreases. Here the junction diode is connected in reverse bias. The positive terminal of the battery is repels the electrons, attracts the electrons which are in the N region, and holes in the P region get attracted with the battery negative terminal. Hence they move apart from the junction. So the depletion layer widen, increases, so the increase in the barrier potential here, due to the minority charge carriers move across from here P region to N region. Since the number of minority charge carriers are very less, therefore current in the reverse bias is also very less. Current in the reverse bias also very less in the junction. So you plot a graph in between voltage and current when the diode is connected in reverse bias. Up to certain voltage there is no change in the current. So this is a reverse saturation current. After some particular voltage, the current changes abruptly, so that voltage is known as a breakdown voltage. It is known as a breakdown voltage. See the reverse breakdown voltage. This is also called as a Zener breakdown or avalanche region, where from which voltage the electron, the current of the junction diode is drastically changes. Up to certain voltage the current is saturated, there is no change or no fluctuation in the current, but after some at a particular voltage it sudden changes drastically. So here we have, by biasing the PN junction diode as a forward and reverse, we can apply these junction diodes in various applications. We have a wide range of applications in the of this PN junction diodes. The PN junction diodes are mostly used in all the LED, that is light emitting diodes. Light emitting diodes are used widely in the display panels, and these PN junction diodes are used as power supply systems, as rectifiers and insulators. These junction diodes are used as rectifiers and inverters. These are used in power supplying systems. The PN junction diodes used as switches in many electronic circuits like automatic open, close, switch on, switch off, auto switch on, switch off circuits, and detecting circuits. We are using these PN junction diodes. In the voltage multipliers, we can use these PN junction diodes as a voltage multipliers to increase the output voltages in power supplies. We are using this PN junction diodes in power supplies. By using PN junction diodes, we can rectify the voltage. We can store the voltage. We can multiply the voltages. We are using these PN junction diodes in computers and computer systems as logic gates, clampers, as switches in logic circuits, in stabilizer. As a special diode, Zener diode is used as a voltage stabilizer in the circuits. In optical communication systems, in voltage regulators, and in communication system as a signal diode, limiters, clippers, gates, logical gates. We are using this PN junction diodes in television system as a phase detectors, limiters, clampers, radar circuits as a gain control circuits, parameter amplifiers. These are the some of the applications of a PN junction diode. The PN junction diodes are a major building blocks of semiconductor circuits. So this PN junction diode is also used as a rectifier. Rectifier is a device which converts alternating current into the direct current. A device which converts alternating current into direct current are known as a rectifier. A rectifier is an electrical device or electrical circuit that converts alternate current which periodically reverses direction into the direct current which flows in only one direction. So here AC current is the alternate current which changes its direction periodically, and direct current is a current which flows in a single direction, only one direction. So the rectifier, this PN junction diode, can convert this alternating current into the direct current. The process is known as a rectification. Here we have the two types of rectifiers. One is a half wave rectifier and another one is a full wave rectifier. So half wave rectifier is defined as a rectifier that only allows one half of cycle of a AC current which is passing through the rectifier, and it blocks the another half of the circle. Half wave rectifier used to convert voltage to DC, AC voltage to DC voltage, and only required a single diode to construct. Here half wave rectifier used to convert AC to DC, and it gives output only half of the input signal, and this half wave rectifier requires only one diode. Here one PN junction diode is required. A simple half wave rectifier is PN junction diode is connected in series to the a load resistor and a AC input. Here load resistor RL is a load resistor and a simple AC supply. We are adding this diode, a single diode, to in series. The operation is very comfortable and easy. So this PN junction diode conducts current only when it is in a forward bias. When AC is input is transmitted in the circuit, the positive half of the input signal of diode will be forward bias, and it allows the flow of current. For another half of the circle of the AC input voltage, the diode is in the reverse bias. Diode is in the reverse bias, so there is no current or output signal when the negative half cycle of the input signal is blocked. Hence the output is only during the positive half cycles of the signals. Only during the positive half cycles of the signals. Here when the positive half cycle is passing through the circuit, positive here this is plus, this is minus, so it is positive forward bias, so signal is in forward, so output will be forward, output will be there. When here it is next signal half cycle is passing through the diode, then here this connection is minus, this connection is plus, so it is reverse bias, there is no signal, so no output is there in this output signal. So this diode only conducts the current in a one direction or only in positive direction. That's why in the only positive circle side of signal is comes as output, and the another alternating side of signals are blocked by the PN junction diode. So only half of the circle, positive circle, comes as a output in this. So here we have many disadvantages in practice. The half wave rectifier is used most often in lower applications because of when we use a half wave rectifier, a significant amount of power gets wasted, as the only one half of each cycle passes through and other half of the cycle gets blocked. So the efficiency is very less, and we cannot use it for the application which need a smooth and steady DC outputs. So here no steady and smooth output of DC current is available with the half wave rectifier. The output amplitude is also less than the input output amplitude. So there is no output during the negative half cycle, so half the power is wasted and output is pulsed DC, resulting into excessive ripples. To overcome all these uh, problems, we are using the full wave rectifier. Full wave rectifier is two types. One is with a single load resistance, another one is a bridge type. So full wave rectifier converts both the half of the each cycle of alternate current AC currents into pulsating DC currents. So for full wave rectifier we use two diodes, and two diodes are connected with a single load resistance. So here single load resistance used in the full wave rectifier. The full wave rectifier converts both the polarities of the input waveform, the plus and minus signals, positive negative signals, into the DC form. So it gives the higher average output voltage. Two diodes and a center tap transformer is used, or four diodes in a bridge configuration used for full wave rectifier. Here we use two diodes and a center tap transformer. So the full wave rectifier consists two power diodes connected to the single load resistance, with each diode takes it into the supply current through the load resistance. When diode 1 is in the forward bias, diode 2 will be in the reverse bias. Therefore, diode 1 alone gives the output and diode 2 does not give any output. Diode 2 does not give any output. During the negative cycle of input signal, diode 2 is in the forward bias and diode 1 is in the reverse bias. Therefore, here when the negative cycle of the input signal, diode 2 gives the output and diode 1 does not give output. So there will be output available when it is in the positive cycle input. The output will be from the diode 1, and when it is in the negative cycle is output input, then the diode 2 gives the output. So due to the combined working of these two, we will get a full DC current by using the full wave rectifier. Due to the two diodes, the full wave rectifiers is so widely used. Due to these two diodes, the signals or whatever the DC current we required, we are getting without any breakage. So the two diode full wave rectifier circuits is not so widely used with the semiconductors, as it requires to use a center tap transformer. It requires a center tapped transformer. So center tap transformer is where we are connecting this load resistance and in between center of the transformer. The rectifier circuits, this type of full wave rectifiers widely used in days of thermionic valves and vacuum tubes. So the PN junction diode application as a rectifier. So rectifier is a device which converts AC current into DC current. So after completion of this session, you are able to understand the junction diode, PN junction diode, and you are able to connect the forward bias and reverse biasing of the PN junction diode, and you are able to understand the applications of a PN junction diode as a rectifier and the rectification of AC current into DC current and the types of rectifiers, half wave rectifier and a full wave rectifier. This half wave rectifier has a wide range of limitations due to the low efficiency and breakage in the output voltage. Only half of the input signal is comes as a output, so mostly above than the 50% of power is wasted in the half wave rectifiers. To overcome all these problems of a half wave rectifier, we are using the full wave rectifiers. Full wave rectifiers are two types. One is center tapped rectifier and another one is a bridge type rectifiers. In center tap full wave rectifier, we are using two diodes. In a bridge type rectifier, we are using 4 diodes. The major disadvantage of a full wave rectifier is we have to use a center tap transformer. That limits the usage of a full wave rectifier. In thermionic valves or thermoelectrical vacuum tubes, we used mostly this rectifier, full wave rectifier. So PN junction diode has a wide range of applications. These are the major building blocks of semiconductors or electronics, and these PN junction diodes are applicable in all the fields of newer technologies in all the fields of science and technology and engineering. In next session, we will discuss about the different other types of semiconductors or diodes, like special diodes and optoelectronic diodes. Thank you very much.